So if God can have his mind changed by a man, and if he can forget to feed his Tamagotchi people and forget to water his Tamagotchi people, that's what we are.
Oh, my Neopets!
Makes you think he's working on other Tamagotchis somewhere else.
No, most guys look fine.
Wow, Deion hates biblical Jesus.
No, because it says...
That's the title for the episode. Thank you, Nick.
Oh,
Deion
come on.
hates biblical Jesus!
I hate both of you. I'm not, that's not going on the Patreon. I don't care.
And a new death is born, and it's a much more vicious and angry death, because it is not born of the same creation as this death. This is a death created by vicious and angry people that want to ensure the old death never comes back.
So Discworld invented Dark Souls. It's that you get punished for generations for the sins of your father.
Oh, I wouldn't know anything about that.
Hey, Deion, what have you been talking about? It's finally retribution for things that I didn't do?
No. That's not what we've been talking about, actually.
Welcome to All Topics No Pizza. We start with a single idea, then move on to new topics until I don't remember anymore. I am Matt, also known as Ruminous.
I'm just Deion.
And guys, we're going to talk about sharks, specifically Shark Jesus.
No.
Yeah, no,
Also,
yeah.
no.
No, Shark,
No.
so Jesus has
We've been through
returned.
this before. I don't like the ocean. I don't like wet things. I do not like sharks.
Matt,
I do not like
Matt,
anglerfish. I do...
But Matt, listen. All I'm saying is that last year, a shark gave birth, a virgin birth, in an Italian aquarium. So that should make you happy. It's an Italian shark, Matt. Jesus is both now. Jesus is both now and an Italian. No, he is now, Matt. That's the thing.
He's from Nazareth.
No, so but he reincarnated as an Italian shark. And now here's my defense for it. All right. So Jesus was said to have come back to us at the end times. Yes, Deion, you know the Bible pretty well.
I'm learning it. No, but sure. Yeah.
Our resident expert, Dr. Deion.
Yeah. Dr. PhD Deion.
I'm not claiming any of that. Nope, not getting me.
Deion,
what are you not claiming?
You have to claim it. Like the whole, you have to. We're giving it to you. I mean, here's the paperwork right now. Hold on, let me get it for you.
Can you imagine just like you can here's
the paperwork.
Like, get someone to be an officiant. It'd be so hilarious if you could like somehow force someone into being a doctorate, which for some reason forces community service on them.
He's gonna have to come back, and when he comes back as a warrior, here to fight the Antichrist. And what makes the most sense? Coming back as a human with all of our flaws, with all the problems of, a personality, a social system, a society to take care of, government, politics, all the things that have caused the Armageddon that we're currently in. Or coming back as
motherfucking T-Rex.
Or coming back as a 450 million year old apex predator who can just wait, bide his
T-Rex.
time. And soon enough.
Alligators.
So I actually thought about the alligator because the alligators, depending on the species, can live a lot longer than sharks.
And they haven't evolved in 50 million years because they haven't needed to, because they're apex predators. Anything that doesn't need to evolve in 50 million years, don't fuck with it, because it doesn't need to evolve. It's already perfect.
It's incredibly efficient. That is an incredibly efficient design.
Yeah. We are accepting of all peoples, no matter what species they've decided to be reincarnated as. And you know what?
Except for platypus, you're weird. That one's a personal choice.
I welcome our new glorious heavenly Jesus in his new earthly form. It'll be
I do not.
interesting. He's a smooth hound shark.
I don't know what that means, but none of those words I like together. All of them are wrong.
It is considered harmless to
Yeah, a
humans.
hound shark sounds like something you'd find in like an RPG.
No, smooth hound. Smooth hound is one word.
Yeah, no, I know, but Matt said all those words. I'm just thinking about, all right, so a hound shark sounds bad enough, but a smooth hound shark? That is...
He's coming to steal your family.
Is that a sneakier hound shark? Like, what is... That sounds awful.
It sounds like level 1 is Hound Shark, and then Smooth Hound Shark is the upgraded version you fight later on.
No, it's a Digimon evolution situation. Because you got the Smooth Hound Shark.
So it's a shark with jorts, got it.
And a
Bring
gun
it back to
for some
Digimon.
With a gun and jorts.
If you guys couldn't tell, we have been slowly trying to transition into a Digimon podcast.
All Digimon.
But
No
we
pizza.
do not involve me into this shit.
All Digimon, no pizza. ADNP. See, it doesn't even sound that different. All I'm saying, Matt, is one or the other. Either it's all about anime or it's all about Digimon. You get to pick. No. If
I pick flutes. We are officially a pan flute podcast.
Right.
All pan flute, no pizza. ATNP. I'm spitting everywhere.
Yeah, at this point, it's all gibberish, no pizza.
Which is already what this goddamn podcast is.
My favorite, the Thrones of Heaven. I love the Thrones of Heaven because they're just fucking fire wheels with eyes and wings.
Speaking of heaven, in Digimon...
No, it exists. It's a real realm. It's where Yggdrasilmon is.
Not Yggdrasilmon.
Most people should read. 99.9% of that book is allegorical. With the exception of maybe Jesus. If you want to read that as a real event, please do. But please don't tell me the Earth is 6,000 years old, or I will fight you.
He will do it. He'll drop you.
It's obviously only 2,000 years old because it's the year 2022. Do some math, Nick.
Got him.
Do some math. Come on.
Like I said, he was just a guy. He just was some guy that looked like a guy. He didn't look.
No, most
unique.
guys look fine.
Wow, Deion hates biblical Jesus.
No, because it says...
That's the title for the episode. Thank you, Nick.
Oh,
Deion
come on.
hates biblical Jesus.
I hate both of you. I'm not. That's not going on the Patreon. I don't care.
You can totally rename it. Nick hates biblical Jesus.
No, it's
Nick
definitely going
does
to be
hate
Jesus,
biblical
Shark,
Jesus.
and Jorts. That's definitely what it's going to be.
We're gonna do the round robin thing again, where we all blame the other person for something. That's my favorite episode. No, it says that he was his visage was not fun. The people turned away from him because his visage was so striking, which was not a compliment.
Mm-hmm. He was a hard-edged man.
Yeah, with hair like sheep's wool, and with I think he was not disfigured, but like scarred. Like I think he had an injury or something. Jesus was not a pretty person. I have so many problems with so many aspects of Christianity, like dozens and dozens of problems. The biggest one being denominations exist at all.
Turn thy cheek, but seek retribution.
No, that's awesome.
It's the most what?
Turn
No.
the cheek, but stab in the face.
Like, oh no, be peaceful,
my-
but I'm gonna flood your entire fucking planet.
Peacefully. What
You don't
was
have to go
unclear
far
about
to
that?
get to, you can fuck shit up when you need to. New Testament Jesus was like, you are doing what in my father's house? And flipped tables and whipped people.
Yeah.
Whipped people in there with he straight up was just threw a tantrum and was like, you need to get the fuck out of here. This is not what God is
Oh
about.
man, that makes white
And
Jesus
destroy-
even worse. That makes white Jesus even worse. Just the idea of white Jesus amongst all of the Israelites, or all of the people in Israel, just whipping the shit out of him like, oh, Jesus, sweetie, no.
Oh, this is where they got that idea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite Digi Jesus is Whip Jesus.
Jesus,
Whip Jesus, man.
Whipmon. Yeah.
Like, no two ways about it. A person who carries a whip is a villain. I don't care if they're
the
specialty.
connotations of a whip are very clear that they are just in
crazy thing
power
is
and control.
there are like whip masters in the world. I'm like, you know what? Maybe don't. Maybe don't.
Okay. So you can flip me if
Yes,
you want to,
Jesus.
but he recently posted how often villains become the friends video. It's hilarious, Nick, if you haven't seen it. The amount of times. I saw a post where a guy who was practicing whipcraft accidentally hit himself. The comments.
Maybe
There's like
don't.
3,000 comments that were like, don't say it hurts. That's just reparations part 1. And just like, yeah, not so nice now, is it? And just like hundreds of thousands or hundreds of comments of just black people just reveling in his pain. I mean, it probably wasn't even all black people. It was probably like white people, internet blackface. But it was I did not see a single comment that was not like, yeah, you deserve that. Yeah, it feels... Yeah, this it doesn't feel so good on this side, does it?
What did this man do? He didn't do anything.
He hit himself with a whip by accident.
Yeah, I got that part, but he wasn't a slave master.
He was.
I understand the joke.
Why is he practicing witchcraft?
He was WIW, whipping while, or he was WWW, whipping while white. That was what he did.
Honestly, I'm not even joking. I am, but I'm not. Practicing whipcraft while white should be a hate crime by itself. Because what are you trying to do?
Or at least like something that all of the black people look at and just like, all right, we're just going to keep an eye on this one.
He's like, on our watch list.
Yeah, he is on the literal... he's on the whip list.
Humans are surprisingly inhumane.
Surprising, huh?
We are real good at finding ways to kill and torture other humans. It's pretty...
Oh my god.
Maddening.
There's a Japanese facility that existed during World War II.
I don't like where this is going at all.
Yeah, no.
The Japanese were arguably way worse than the Germans.
You're gonna have to upgrade the flutes to trumpets.
No, because I want to talk some that people don't really know. But one of the ones that always sticks in my mind is they were testing how a human would react to having their arm shattered after freezing it in liquid nitrogen. Can you guess what happened?
Hey, why?
We're fluting this.
They died. Surprise.
After it shattered?
Yeah. No, yeah.
How long after? Don't answer that.
Pretty much immediately.
It's probably the shock and also just... Yeah.
They probably would have died shortly after having it, like...
After having their body completely frozen with liquid nitrogen? Not body, but like a part of their body?
No, because this is a page of the yearbook, Nick. I don't want to believe that humans are inherently evil.
Yeah, I know.
But if I look at the history, tigers have like 2, maybe 3 ways of killing people. Eagles have like a solid 1, the drop kill. They found their thing and they stuck to it. Most animals are like, I've got one really solid weapon, like like the master of a single kick 1,000 times, like that sort of thing. Like most animals follow that philosophy where it's just like, I know how to kill this one way and it works, so I'm going to set up the conditions so that I can do that most of the time. Some predators have multiple ways. Like, you've got your lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, with the teeth and the nails and the being almost a ton. Not literally. Most animals aren't actually even close to that, but they're just excessively more heavy than a human is. And that's its own, advantage.
Well, I love the idea always as a scythe as a weapon. The scythe is a really cool weapon. It is horrendously inefficient. Yeah, it is not good.
It is not meant for it.
Which is kind of ironic because it's so romanticized as a great weapon. It's like the Grim Reaper's death weapon. Yeah. But no, it's not. It's really good for cutting grass. It's great at that.
It's great for really sweeping like crops out, and that's it.
The blade is otherwise, compared to grass, super sharp. Compared to any other form of skin or bone or muscle, very dull.
It's also because the depiction of the Grim Reaper is most heavily influenced by the lower working classes, who often depicted death as basically the death of the farmer, which is why he would literally wield a chaff cutting weapon. Like it was literally to slice the wheat that are humans.
If I ever get fan art of me, I want me with a scythe. Because it looks cool, bro. It just looks cooler than...
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
A great sword is kind of cool. A regular sword, a rapier, if I'm in the right stance. Yeah, those things look pointy and sharp. But a scythe, that's dynamic composition waiting to happen. I don't know why it's that way, but it's... Thank you.
Yeah, it's
not even a good scythe.
No, it's not. It's an actual scythe. That's why. Instead of that super long curved one that's really cool, it's a regular actual. Well, for me, the scythe particularly is a sign of death because it's often associated with Kronos, who's the god of harvests, seasons, and time. And ultimately, what happens in time?
Harvest in time, things die. It's a cycle.
Yep, you die eventually. So he reaps you, and that, I can't confirm this, but I think that's where the idea of the Grim Reaper having that scythe came from. Is the idea
to reap
at
himself.
the end of your time, he reaps you. He harvests you.
Once you've matured at the end of your life cycle.
Yeah. Once you become overripe, he gets rid of you from the field.
Side note, did you know that the nuclear bombs only exploded to about 2% of their capacity? They did not effectively explode. Can you imagine what that means?
Maybe that's correct. Effective is going to be, for the first time in history, subjective.
Well, yes, of course. But can you imagine the effect they would have had they truly exploded their full potential capacity? Like, they wiped out.
Okay, so I don't think that nukes ever exploded their true capacity, because we lose nukes, and so do other countries.
They fizzle out.
And it's fine.
It's just absurd. Like,
what?
I just lost this world-ending attack. This weapon, I just lost it. My bad, bro. Dog, that's not cool. Go find it.
They make this offhand joke in I think it's Infinity War. No. It's the one where it's Civil War, where they don't know where Thor or Bruce Banner are, and he's like, "Do you know what kind of trouble I'd be in if I just lost 30 tons of nuclear weaponry?" But this does actually happen quite often. We just lose nuclear heads, and I don't know how many tons it is. But it's just like, yeah, we don't know where Thor and Banner are, but like the U.S. government and the Russian government and tons of other governments, they make it sound like they don't lose nuclear weapons because they don't get shit for it. They 100% lose nuclear weapons. They 100% get shit for it.
Deion.
Like it's.
Yeah. We'll get a hard pivot. You were saying something about ending humanity?
Oh no. I was gonna say I've never told this story before, but in relation to how you say I've evolved from we should test so people to we should just let all of humanity die off. It's not a hard pivot. That's just something that I don't talk about a lot anymore. I once met my first best friend on a Facebook forum back when they had those.
Oh, back in the day.
Yeah, right. And I went on this forum, and I don't remember the exact details. I wish I could bring her on so that she could remember for me. But basically, the premise was like something the point of humanity, and I think I went in and I basically said something, and again, 13 years old, said something to the effect of, there is no point to humanity. Humanity is a virus on the earth. We are as if there were cancer on the earth, and one day the earth will cure itself of us and remove it. I'm sorry, I didn't say virus, I said parasite.
Yeah, because
that's
we're
what I said.
Parasites
we
try
are
to keep
a parasite on the earth, and one day the earth will cure itself of this parasite.
This is actually one of my main problems with philosophy.
Philosophy is not strong of a science.
Philosophy is not a science. Philosophy is a way of.
It's an art.
Yeah, it's the idea of dissecting information when it comes to existential questions. Weirdly enough, and I know a lot of people, and both of you are probably gonna push back on me, I put philosophy in the same think space as conspiracy theory. Neither of them are meant to be applied to reality. They are
That's a solid disagreement.
Explicitly thought experiments.
Yeah, it's mostly this thought experiment, and the Socratic method is.
The ultimate annoying.
Are you sure that you can trust that the birds are real? Are you sure that the tidal waves are not actually caused by extraterrestrial
John F.
demons?
Kennedy was killed by Henry or whoever?
In a way, the Socratic method, 100% conspiracy theory rhetoric. Okay, that's fair.
No, hold on. This is my thing. That is conspiracy has been degraded. It has been degraded over time by people not understanding how to think in the conspiracy headspace. The whole point of a conspiracy is not to answer the question, but is to question the answer given. And that's why I say they're in the same thought bubble.
You know what? No. Okay, I'm still going to disagree, but I get your point. I agree that... No. I agree that conspiracy... Ooh! Sorry. Conspiracy has been degraded.
Yeah.
Conspiracy has been attacked by capitalist propaganda.
Uh-huh.
You're right.
If you believe... So, perfect example.
Because capitalism doesn't want you to think.
Right.
It wants you to just believe.
If tomorrow we all found out that John F. Kennedy was killed on accident, if that information was proved, because that's my theory. John F. Kennedy was killed on accident in what's-his-face's attempt to kill the Texas governor. If all that came out tomorrow, every person who believed that would get a point of oh God, you believe something that nobody else believed in, blah, 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 blah. But then every other conspiracy that they ever believed would go under scrutiny. everything that they even entertained would become a piece of scrutiny, so that eventually someone on our capitalist regime could say, well, yes, this person might have been right about that, but look at all the other things they believe. It is co-opted to make people look dumb.
You know, I actually agree with you. Conspiracy has had a smear campaign ran on it. Because conspiracies are real. Our government conspires against our best interest all the time. The MLK assassination was a conspiracy that worked, right? They conspired against him and killed him. That's a conspiracy. There's no theory because it happened, right? Conspiracy theories are vilified in capitalist propaganda because they get people thinking critically about what's actually going on in our government, because they do conspire against the regular American people. You're totally right. I'm not even memeing.
Isn't it weird how I've like literally thought about this long enough to be like, there's like a weird benefit to thinking in conspiracy so long as you entertain conspiracy with a level head. This is the spectrum that needs to exist for conspiracy to work, is the person who is over top, the person who is down to earth, and the person who's like, I'm the middleman. And then you have Mulder, who is like, no, these guys all are a little off, but their willingness to question things does benefit the X-Files.
So speaking of ground level and middleman, I need to ground check myself. Matt, you haven't said anything. Do you think I'm overreacting?
No, I'm just watching the time. We have 15 minutes. I'm waiting to jump in for the question, but I'm not sure if we would just let this play out and not have a question for this week.
Well, I was going to question. Matt, I do have a question.
I have a question.
You have a question?
I have a question.
I want to see what... So I don't have an answer to this question.
I actually don't have a question. Please don't pass to me.
You don't have a question?
No, everybody else had a question.
I am question a kiss.
So I have a question, and it's the kind of question that'll let Nick talk for 15 more minutes. But I'm hoping that Matt has an answer, but I don't think you do, because I don't.
Right. Well,
I have answers for everything. They may not be correct. They may not be accurate. They may not even be anywhere tangentially related, but I have an answer.
Let's hear Nick's question. Let's hear my question. Let's vote.
So my question was going to be dumb is, what's your conspiracy theory?
Oh, no, I was going to say, what's your favorite conspiracy theory?
Ah.
It was the same question.
So pretty much the same question here. I'm going to vote for Nick.
You're going to vote for me? So, my response to this was... My response to this was, Deion, I love to hear myself talk. My worst personality trait is I love to hear myself talk too much. So ask away. So we've all gotten the same question, so I'll answer. That's really hard, because there are a lot of weird conspiracies out there.
I don't know many, so I have to think really hard, actually.
You know what? It's not.
It's not. Great. Wonderful theory. Deion, you're up.
I'm trying.
Most things are not. That's true. Everything. I'm a solipsist as of last week, so everything is not.
So this is not a well-known conspiracy theory. I'm pretty positive only me and one of the hosts of one of my favorite podcasts believe this. Aliens, the majority, if not all, are a psychic operation, or not a psychological operation conducted by the U.S. government in an effort to undermine potential conspiracies about government involvement in human and civilian testing. The idea is that the majority of, the stories of people being abducted are implanted memories in a way, like dream memories, like they experienced something, but it was so traumatic that their memories painted over it with a different memory. And the memory they have is of an alien abduction, when in reality the actual memory is of a government abduction.
I believe it.
And one of the things that points to this is our government's interest in declassification of UFO stuff, UFO studies that the government has done before. The government has looked into aliens before. The government was involved with the Roswell situation, which, there's no answer to that still. I mean, there's the government line, but again, we're in the conspiracy sphere now, and the first rule of the conspiracy sphere is don't trust the people in power. Right. When the entire government is saying, no, don't believe those people. Look, they're addicted to these drugs that we definitely didn't feed them.
It's regular gaslighting nonsense.
Almost. I want to go with. I'm gonna make up a number here. I got to think about the population in America, specifically the population of America, right? I'm going to go with 50% of millennials are communists at this point. at minimum. Like straight up, not a spicy steak. The U.S. government is a what do you call it, Nick? What did we agree to call it? The U.S.
It's the capitalist regime and
the American regime,
empire.
The American empire, the capitalist regime. Yeah, we are the baddies has gone half circle to reality. It's no longer a skit. It's just a real thing that's happening. Mm-hmm. Well, are we the baddies? .jpg.
and we are. We are. And again, this is one of those things where does each individual within our nation pay the price for existing within the nation of a baddie? Well, we're going to have to figure that out.
Yeah,
what do you think we're doing to every single Russian who isn't fighting in Ukraine?
Every single person I've ever heard talk about Russia or North Korea, I'm like, well, what you don't understand, the same shit's going to happen to you if they win, but we won't. Are you sure about that?
This is going to be an example of that. What's that poem? I did not stand up for this group or that group or this group or that group, but now there's no one left to stand up for me. Yeah. That's us.
So look, people, if you want to lead happy lives, if you want God to care about you, you know what? That's my stance. If you want God to care about you, start caring about everybody else. God doesn't like selfish people.
No, it's the...
Nice.
If you believe in God, God doesn't like selfish people.
I've tried to tell this to many people, many who are close to me, is... During the second Punic, before it, when Hannibal was getting ready to launch against Rome because Rome was being a major dick and doing major things, they went to the German tribes, and they said, "Hey, we want help. If Hannibal or his people come around, you need to stop them, and we'll pay you." And basically, what they said is, "You said that to the Phoenicians. You said that to Hannibal. Your word means nothing to us. If Hannibal comes by, we're gonna fuck you. You realize that, right? We don't trust you. We don't like you." And the Romans were baffled at this until you read the history of it, and it's the exact same thing that's what the Americans are doing. It's the same thing. If there comes a point where there's a world war and someone, say Canada defects and starts attacking us, you shouldn't be surprised. Maybe don't be a dick.
Pikachu.war JPEG. I'm terrified of the notion that we're going to be responding to okay, so so somehow I'm going to pretend to ignore the racist connotations that it's a surprise that there's a war in a European country. This isn't where this happens. I hate news reporters.
I don't know why. There was never a surprise. It's been ongoing. This war has been happening since 2008.
Did you guys see those? What's up with that? Ignoring that, I'm terrified of the notion that people are going to responding to actual war with gifts. I'm sure it's happened, but it's just like I can't imagine being like, the U.S. attacked, or the Canada attacked the U.S. today. And then I'm just sure someone's just going to respond to that article with a surprise that Pikachu JPEG. And it's just, I dread the day I have to read that and be like, no, I get it. That's a fair reaction. Like, I'm so upset.
You remember that one dude, and we're going to go a little bit over, but do you remember that one dude who wrote the Onion article?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. His next article is "How could they do this to us?" Says nation that has done this to everybody else.
Nick, I think you need to apply for the Onion. I think that's your new job.
It's honest. It's so true. Why did the entire world turn against us? Said Germany after World War I. I don't know. Right. So love your brother, love your worst enemy. And remember,
turn the other cheek and then seek retribution. You know what to do.
Turn the other cheek, and if they fuck you, you have permission to fuck them to the limit with which they fucked you. Any more, and you're going to hell.
And you shall be stoned.
In an exact way to show that you turn the other cheek, we are out of time recording. However, it has been very clear to me that both of these gentlemen realized that I never answered the question, but we are out of time. So we're going to leave it there.
You don't need to answer the question. I answered for you.
I didn't answer
he actually did. My answer was that the governments are posting conspiracy theories so that we don't trust ourselves, our leaders, our governments, and we create a chaos within ourselves so we don't focus on the shit that they're doing. It's actually the answer.
That's the technical term for that is a psychological operation.
Yes, it is. And it has been done many times before by the American government.
Oh, yeah.
Good night.
I love learning. Good night.
We all love learning. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. We started with Shark Jesus, and we ended up with conspiracy theories. And we, just like you guys, have no idea we got there either. We hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you next time. If you want to support us, we have a Patreon page, and Rumors will upload to YouTube, and I've also published 2 books. You can support us that way as well, if you'd like.
Look, man, I have a cat who cannot decide where she wants to sit on my body at the moment.
Hey, Matt, you're echoing a little bit for me.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, like you
Continue.
I echo all the time in Nick's and yours for some reason.